Hi everybody, Mark Michaels here, Performance Horse Central. We've got a special guest with us today, Mr. Adan Banuelos. Adan, welcome.
Thank you.
I can't help but smile after what's just happened. I mean, Futurity Champion after all those years, you know, and you've had 3 amazing years, 2 reserve championships back to back. Then you finish it up with a championship. Half brother or half sister, full brother. I mean, they're all related, one way or another. It's been just an amazing year for you, amazing couple of years. I mean, $615,000 you've won just the Futurity in the last 3 years.
That's awesome.
Tell us a little bit about, you know, what that meant for you to finally cap this off with a win.
Well, all smiles. You know, it's been a great journey. It's been very fortunate, many different ways, and a lot of things are going into this new facility and stuff like that. So being second this year would have been just fine. You know, like, I mean, I'm definitely not sick or regretting, or, you know, the Futurity's been really good to me the last few years. So this year, getting to come out on top was just real refreshing, and for all of us. You know, I know my people were getting a little tired, and nobody's tired right now.
No.
You know, they're like, the night before the finals, everybody's like, I bet you're ready for this to be over. And I said, well, it depends on how it ends. You know, some things you don't ever want to stop. So yeah, it's really good.
Well, and it all started, I mean, I think Bad Boonerizing, in 2018, you're the reserve champion on him, and then had a great year on him. Mm-hmm. And then comes along twice in Santiago, you know, reserve championship on her, then Horse of the Year, Open Horse of the Year.
Yes, sir.
You know, and then, I mean, you've had a lot of other success on other horses too. You've put quite a string of horses together. So when you guys are going down the road, like you said, I mean, everybody's tired, but there's a lot of work, but there's also been a lot of, you know, accomplishments come from that.
Well, it's a lot of motivation is what it is. When you get to be around horses like that, and people, the quality of customers that I have is just really high, and for them to have the confidence in us to lose and to, you know, not panic, and to keep going, and to trust you, and invest in great horses, and they're great people, you know. So that's where it all starts, really. You know, it all starts with you got to have consistent customers in order to have a consistent program.
Well, and you've definitely got that. You've got a pretty good, you know, list of clientele, and obviously Dottie Hill and Gail Holmes are a big part of that. Tell us a little bit about how you came about getting Allspice into the barn.
Mr. Roy Stalkup owned her, same man that owned Bad Boonerizing, and she's a full sister to Bad Boonerizing. So we had some conversations through last year about her, and Royce, his timing is really good. Whenever he knows when to go ahead and let somebody have a look, and when to put a number on something, and so props to him. But towards the end of the year, he brought her here, and I got to work her pretty much without any real deal going on. He was just kind of dangling her, you know, and
take her home and work her a little bit.
Teasing me with her, and so he let me work her, and then she went back, and we after the Futurities, when stuff got serious, and Miss Gail, she is the one that pressed it, and Miss Dottie was very excited to be a part of it, and this mare, Spice, already had a lot of sentimental value to me because of Bad Boonerizing. So I was just fortunate enough to be the one that they asked to ride her, you know. And Royce has been really good to me also, because he believes in this program, and I think that it's been a good fit. So hopefully it continues, and I think that's he had a big part in it too, I think, by just where he thought the mare would fit, and so I'm grateful for him too.
How soon did you know that she was special when you got her home and started working her?
I knew whenever the first time I worked her twice here. One time he just brought her and I just got to work her for fun, and then he brought her down for us to actually try. That day, Miss Dottie and Mr. Bobby and Gail were in here, and I'm working her, and things that I wanted her to do, she was a little difficult to get to do them, but it was all because of she didn't want to let go of the cow.
Right.
You know, so I really felt like it was going to take me a while to get her to trust me to get to a certain spot, but trying to get her to go past the cow or trying to get her to wait or whatever's not happening, you know, and she had a very strong passion to work the cow. And, you know, Royce, I think on that mare, especially on a lot of them, but on her, he put a lot of confidence in her. I don't think he worked her quite that much, you know. I think maybe he gave her like 3 weeks off here and then work her a week and then whatever, but the mare was really fresh when I got her, so it's hard to find that nowadays where a horse that costs a lot of money is not burn up and not sick of their job already. So that was really good. And then, you know, you have a full year to pretty much make yourself comfortable, you know, and get her comfortable with you, which is she's working the cow already. So that was really good. But I knew then that if I kept my head and her head simple, it was going to be really good. But she wasn't that easy to keep simple.
Right.
You know,
Just a lot of natural talent, raw talent.
Very raw and very strong-minded.
What were some of the similarities between her and Bad Boonerizing?
I think their desire to work the cow is very similar. I think that they both are very easy movers. They can do things without thinking about it, you know, like without even moving, they'll move 4 or 5 times, you know, and you didn't go anywhere. And just the quickness that they have from what they think the cow's doing to their feet is incredibly quick. And they're bigger, stronger horses, both of them. So for a horse, you know, horses of that size to have that much freedom with their body is really refreshing, and it gives you a lot of confidence sitting up there knowing that you've got a powerhouse under you, you know. So I think that they both also they have a real unique way of moving, and they get I say good hydraulics, meaning they're not just low in the front end, but they lower very level, and they can get small and a lot of reach, which is hard to find both in the same, you know, animal. So I think both of those things are really good.
Well, you can see a lot of similarities working wise, and like what you just described, that ability to get down low and hover and stay balanced, and just so much reach and read through that cow. That's you can definitely see some similarities.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and both of them are extremely sensitive, real sensitive in the face, kind of, you know, more Bad Boonerizing than Spice. He's a lot more sensitive, but I think she is too. But him, for being a stud and only really needing a correction all year, you know, and stuff, that's cool. And this mare, she's probably a little stronger minded to go against you if she thinks that you're doing something without the cow. He was a lot more pleasing, you know, and he'd let you put him where you wanted, and then he'd just go, and you kind of got to beg her to do something or convince her or whatever. So I think both of them being that sensitive for that strong is great.
Well, and those two obviously have been, you know, a big part of your program in recent years, along with Tyson Santiago, but there's been quite a few others as well, and you've been a big part in some world championships as well. I mean, your dad hauled in the Open this year. Elizabeth was a non-pro world champion. Dad Cinch ended up second.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about that. You know, what's it been like for you to focus on your age event, but then also still have the weekend program as part of your deal too?
Well, that it can get a little bit where you might feel like you're being spread a little thin. But this year, what was awesome was my dad you know, he was leading the world and then sitting second and then leading the world. And it was real cool to see my dad at, I'm not even going to say his age, but
he's eligible for the senior, we know that.
Yes, sir, he's in the senior, and he's like, you know, he's like a little kid, and especially going up and down the road like that. He'd come in here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and he'd do whatever, work horses, and see you later. You know, I'm chasing something, and that horse pedal to the metal. I really love that horse, and he did a lot for me getting started. And to see those two, and to see my dad have a shot at winning the world after all these years, was real cool. And I really wanted it, like really bad, for him, you know, because it's just, he's done this for so long, and that's a title he doesn't have, and that would have been really good, but it still ended up great, you know, because I think, you know, Mr. Mike Wood, he really put on a show, and I thought that's, if you're gonna get beat, that's the way you get beat, and he put on a clinic, and we're still world champion stallion, which
he probably likes that title.
My dad, he's not sure if it's about the horse or him, but that was good. And then Elizabeth winning the world this year. You know, she's got a really good group of horses, and which fortunately they're all here. And I think that she made it a lot easier on me this year. She went the extra mile, knowing that, you know, we're after Horse of the Year and stuff, and she wanted me, or asked me, to be at certain places, and really went out of her way to get me there with the least amount of stress or struggle, and get me back as quick as possible. So I'm happy for both of them. I really am, and I think that Elizabeth is she's a great competitor. She's really hungry to win, but she's very professional about losing, and I'm proud of her. Yeah, real proud. So I know she put Todd through a lot, chasing all this. She might have not made it as easy on him, but he was a trooper for sure.
So obviously family is a big part of your program. You've got your dad Cinch here working with you. You know, you're able to bounce ideas off him. You've got Diego working here, your brother?
My uncle, my dad's brother.
Uncle, yeah. And then you've got your mom's still a big part of your program here.
Very big, yep.
Tell us a bit about that. What does that mean for you?
It all goes back into, you know, how winning this fraternity is such a big deal, you know, because my family's always been really tight-knit, and everybody supports and loves everything about this. So you know, through the whole fraternity and a little before, Cookie was here also. So just getting to come in here and see all these guys together, and my mom keeping us all in line, it's real fun. You know, you're not coming to work, you know, in that type of environment. You know, you're pretty much getting paid to come hang out with some horses and your family, and have a good time. Yes, sir. And it has been a blast, and I feel very blessed to be able to do what I do that way. You know, there's a lot of people that you stay so busy you don't get to see your family as much, or, you know, this and that. And I mean, when I go to a show, they're probably sick of me by then, you know. So
ready for you to leave.
And that's great. That's really good.
So tell us a little bit about the ranch here. How did you come about moving here?
So Stephen Feiner, I had been looking for a place for a while, and I'd leased a lot of places all around Weatherford. And whenever we found this place, Stephen was looking at the same time. He had decided that this would be a good time for him. He had just accomplished something on the business side of whatever he does, and he was ready to have a ranch at that time. So the timing was great. And so we partnered on this place. It came out a lot better, him being a part of it because it would not have been the same,
Yeah.
you know, not even close. Yeah. And he really enjoys this, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, I know we were talking a minute ago about my dad and uncles and mom, but I mean, he's part of the family,
Yeah.
you know, and to see the way he takes care of my sister and to see what he's made possible for me, it's another thing to just say that I'm fortunate
Yeah.
about. And all through the Open, you know, Wesley, he works here through these Fort Worth shows. His horses stay here, and we get to work together, and it's been a blast. And Stephen, every morning he's here, no matter what time, and I think the first day he took off is when the non-pro started.
Right.
The first morning he didn't get up at 3 or 3:30. Right. Was but all through the Open, when it was our turn, he was all about it. And so, you know, working and he's really invested into his breeding program right now, and seeing, you know, his offspring come through here and look great, and it gets him motivated. It makes me very happy for him to see everything he's doing is towards for a good reason, and so Wesley and I went in first and second, coming out of here, and Stephen being a part of it every morning.
Pretty special.
It's very special.
Yeah.
Very special.
So going into the finals that night, you're in the second set, about midway. First set, cows were just horrible. Second set, you know, didn't start out much better, but Wesley come in there. He was second in there, marked a 223, you know, and really put a big score up there to chase. What was kind of going through your mind as you were getting ready to walk down to the herd?
We got to work those same cows in the semifinals. So I had 5 horses in the semis, and so obviously I got to be a part of a lot of cattle selection and going down there and stuff. So to me, from the day before all through that finals was, I think in this thing you can really overthink it, you know, and I think that my goal was that morning working that mare was to make sure she wasn't overly patient, just because by that point in the show I knew that mare was eager to go stop and stuff, and so I really wasn't worried about anything besides her coming back into the cow. So watching the first set, it was, I'd like to say that I was pretty calm, you know, about it. And the reason that I got calm when it was my turn was I didn't overthink it, and I just said, hey, I'm gonna go do my job the best I can. I didn't like any of the cows. It's not that I didn't like them, but it's I couldn't come up with to tell TJ and Grant, hey, these are the 3 I want to cut, right. You know, so because I just felt kind of average about it, a lot of them, you know. So and I knew them. We watched them. We talked about them the whole time. So when they're sitting there looking at me like, all right, what are we going to do? I said, I'm going to go down there and have a weekend run, and I'm going to listen to you guys. And they told me about a couple of cows that they were going to try to find. I said, whatever, perfect. You know, you do you, and thank you. And it was a really good decision. But I think that, like, those little moments, like right then, if you don't feel comfortable doing or saying something, just sometimes you just got to plan on it's going to work out the way it's supposed to. Right. You know, because I can be so nervous or worked up about giving them a plan that I can blurt out a cow that takes me out, you know. So letting things fit, I think, is a big part of this, and watching those guys that I look up to, like Lloyd and Austin and some of these great showmen. It looks planned, but I think it rarely is. You know, they're really strong on the feel side and on maybe that cow's better, but it's not going to fit right now, you know, so somebody else can have her because this one's fitting for me. So
well, and when it's so hard to read those cows like that, because there was a lot of cows cut that night that were not very good, that might have settled good. I mean, those guys were cutting those cows, and like when you talk about going in there and cutting maybe a little bit more feel, you know, cutting what feels right.
Yes, sir.
Is pretty important too.
It is, and those cows look like their moods would change quite a bit, and that if you got them cut, them being in a good mood, you had, you know I should have stayed on my second cow longer, but the way everything was going, it just felt like you know, second was good enough if that's what caused it. But I was really afraid to throw everything away with that mare being the way that she had been, and everything. So it turned out to be the right call. But yeah, I think that honestly it just fit. Yeah. Anybody can say, you know, oh, I made this happen or made that happen, and in this sport, it's you do make a lot of really good decisions, but at the end of the day, there's 60 head of cows and 4 turnback horses, and a bunch of people that are emotionally invested into helping you, not to mention your own messed up mind, you know, and stuff. So at the end of the day, it's all got to fit. Yeah. And when it's your turn, I believe that it's your turn. And really, I think we just practice a lot and go to town and find out what God's plan is at the end of the day. Yeah. So.
Well, and speaking of those 3 cows, I hear there's an interesting story about that, that they've now ended up here at the ranch. Tell us about that.
So, my mom called me maybe the day after the show was over, and she's like, I need help picking out or making sure these are the right 3 cows. I said, where are you? And she's off by Farwell somewhere, you know, Hereford or I don't know where, but she went a long ways, and she said, Miss Gail wants you to have the 3 cows that you won the fraternity with, and I thought that was really special. Yeah. So through pictures and FaceTiming and stuff, they already had 2 of them right. I know that Gail asked you for a bunch of pictures and stuff to share with Mr. Bronk and the cattle guys. So 2 of them were right, and we managed to find the 3rd one, the black one. So
there you go. Yeah. And they're living life happily ever after.
Yes, sir. Here at the ranch. They're here. Yeah, they're here. Yeah.
So I mean, you know, again, I mean, we talk about what a great year this was for you, and so much success on multiple different horses. Time for a little break now. What's the plan moving forward?
I don't feel like it. No, I am gonna give no Abilene, so everybody's gonna regroup. This is possibly the most motivated I've ever been. I'm very excited. I'm excited coming back to work. We've worked a few days now and working the 3s. I call them 3s, they're 2s, but working them in a way that I've worked for a while, which is a little more nonchalant and kind of just whatever, and not doing a whole lot of physical work. It's real refreshing to see that, because I've won second, you know, a lot. Yeah. And at the smaller aged events, at the bigger aged events, and I was not beginning to think, but I was happy with the way that I work horses is, you know, second place, and I'm very happy with that. Right. You know, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, because it's hard to get there, you know, and for things to fit. And so now coming off the fraternity and winning first place and coming back to these 3s and knowing that what we do is okay, you know, and that's why it's so much fun, and that's why I'm so motivated right now, is because this has been a lot of fun, and it's not that physically stressful. Yeah. You know.
What about your upcoming group of 3-year-olds? You mentioned them. Have you got some that are standouts? Are you feeling as excited about them as you did some of these from this year?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yes, sir. But I don't like. I would never say.
You're just happy working them.
Yes, yes.
Everything's working good.
Yes, sir. Everything feels like like it's going to be a good group, and hopefully they're lucky too, and just keep going.
Yeah. Well, Adan, it's been an amazing year. I appreciate your time sitting down with us here today, and want to wish you the best of luck. And I'm really proud for your, for what you've done this year and the last couple of years, and for your whole team. I mean, like you said, it's a team effort, and we're excited to see where it leads in the future.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mark.